Good evening. Today is Thursday, October 17th, 2024. Mr. Bonanno, can we have roll call, please?
Mr. Grippo. Dr. Hopkins. Miss Inocencio.
Here.
Mr. Jackson.
Here.
Miss LaCourte.
Here.
Miss Maris.
Here.
Mr. Parker. Mr. Shaban. Miss Singh.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Can you also read the Open Public Meetings Act statement, please?
In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, Sunshine Law, copies of the public meeting notice were sent to the Courier News, the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, the Franklin Reporter, Tap into Franklin Township Clerk Manager, district schools, offices and associations, PTO presidents, and posted on the district website.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion to move to go into a confidential session? Moved by Nancy, seconded by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
So we're going to go into confidential session, motion to adjourn for the purpose of discussing confidential matters, including pupil personnel matters. Minutes of the confidential session will be made public when the reason for confidentiality no longer exists. We'll be back. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We're still on Thursday, October 17th, 2024. We just came back from confidential session and discussed confidential matters, including pupil personnel matters. Minutes of the confidential session will be made public when the reason for confidentiality no longer exists. Lori, can you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? If you are able to, please stand with us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And can I have Erica read the mission statement, please?
Franklin Township Public Schools embraces its diversity, fosters excellent educational innovation, and empowers all students to achieve their highest potential.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda with amending that we move C4 up right after the student representative report?
So moved.
Moved by Sammy, seconded by Nancy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Vanessa, welcome. Let's go ahead and hear your report.
Hello, my name is Vanessa Marino, and I am one of the Student Government BOE liaisons, and here are some of the things going on at FHS. FBLA is hosting a book drive from now until October 25th. AP exam registration is now open. The deadline is November 14th. Many clubs had their first meetings with the start of after-school buses. FBLA is hosting a pickleball tournament on Friday, October 18th at 2:45 p.m. on the tennis courts. FHS Robotics Club is selling team t-shirts to support their competition season. The student government will be selling Gertrude Hawk chocolate to support the NJASC state charity Ava's Voice to battle Usher syndrome. Robotics Club will be hosting a girl-powered workshop for International Girls' Day on October 24th. The student government will be running another student for the NJASC state office. The homecoming dance is Saturday, October 19th from 6 to 10 p.m. The class of 2025 and Mr. Friedman continue to sell tickets along with making final preparations. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so can I have Walter read C4 and then we can move and second that?
C4, Sodhani Foundation Grant Funds Donation. Pursuant to Policy 7230, Gifts, Grants, Donations, the Board of Education accepts the following donations. $10,000 from the Sodhani Foundation for the purpose of supporting the district's annual FTPS Invention Competition.
Can someone please move this? Moved by Dennis. Seconded by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Mary, would you like to come? Or, okay, Dan's going to do it. Thank you.
Just want to take a moment to thank Vimal Sodhani and his lovely spouse, Papu, for being here tonight. We've been working on this for a few years, and it's getting better and better every year, with last year our students not only competing in Steam Tank, but actually a couple of the teams advancing to the regional finals, and one nearly, I would say, winning. Our aviation group that did so really beautifully well. We had a chance to see them. We're so excited about how this invention competition, which began as an elementary-only sort of enterprise. We knew it was going to expand. From the beginning, the goal was we're going to start with elementary, build into middle school, which we did the second year, and then this most recent year, our third incarnation of the program, included the high school. What Vimal doesn't know, but we only found out a couple days ago, thanks to Miss Singh, who encouraged me to apply for a recognition for the program. We actually won that program, and I just wanted to read to you very briefly, if you will, Dr. Orvyl, what we submitted as our nomination, which I think is really certainly a compliment to Mr. Sodhani. So I'll just read it. So this is the New Jersey School Board Association School Leadership Award, for which we were selected, our program, which next month will be recognized at a county meeting. The 2024 nomination. The mission of Franklin Township's annual invention competition is to provide students in this highly diverse district with exciting opportunities to use their imagination and ingenuity to innovate solutions to real-world problems. In participating in this annual design challenge event, students have a chance to apply their mastery of the New Jersey student learning standards, especially those found within the area of computer science and design thinking. When a community partner, Vimal Sodhani and the Sodhani Foundation, approached the district in 2020 with the hope of supporting creative, innovative thinking via a generous financial contribution, district officials embraced the opportunity as the district fosters strong relationships with its community partners, especially around initiatives that promote STEAM learning opportunities. Doing so is important to our students, many of whom belong to traditionally underrepresented communities in STEM-related fields. And as a result of this partnership, the district launched the Invention Competition in 2022 and has since expanded this annual showcase from solely an elementary initiative to one that now includes all 10 of the district's K-12 schools. As a result, approximately 7,200 students from New Jersey's second most diverse student population either participate in or are exposed to the invention competition. So thank you, Vimal. Thank you, Papu. We are so excited to be receiving this award in November, but we're equally excited just to see the program expand, get better and better every year, and as we compete at higher and higher levels. So thank you very much for your contribution.
I just want to add, before Mr. Sodhani comes up, the recognition for the school is at the Somerset County School Board's meeting on November 18th. And I would personally invite both of you to come and attend so that you can be part of the recognition ceremony for Franklin Township Public Schools that evening. And I'll send you the details.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me. Okay. Good evening. Thank you very much for your invitation to join the Board of Education meeting. I truly appreciate your warm introduction and would like to express my gratitude to Ms. Singh, Nancy Locote, all board members, Dr. John Ravelli, Dr. Daniel Logran, and my wife, Papa Sodhani. On behalf of the Sodhani Foundation, it brings me great joy to confirm our partnership on an ongoing commitment to Franklin Township Public Schools. We are proud to contribute to the STEAM invention competition with a grant of $10,000. It is our pleasure to present this check to the Board of Education, symbolizing our belief in the students of the township and their limitless potential. It was a privilege to witness the impressive innovation presentations from the elementary, middle, and high school students. Their creativity and enthusiasm are inspiring and reaffirm our belief in the power of youth to shape the future. The students of Franklin Township stand on the threshold of an exciting journey, one that not only offers personal growth, but also the chance to showcase their collective talents on a broader stage. Through this competition, the Sodhani Foundation is proud to invest in their development as future leaders and innovators. The challenges they face may seem daunting, but it is within those challenges that their true capabilities will shine. I encourage them to embrace each hurdle, learn from every experience, and grow stronger along the way. Success is not something handed to us. It is earned through perseverance, determination, and the ability to learn from both triumph and setbacks. Now is the time for these students to represent Franklin Township, competing not just locally, but on the state and also on the national levels. Their achievements will resonate within our community and stand as a testament to the hard work and dedication for Franklin Township's students and educators. We hope to see them bring pride and recognition to our township on larger stages in the future. As the holiday season approaches, I would also like to take this opportunity to wish you and your family a joyful and healthy holiday season and a prosperous New Year 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, folks. You've come a long way, huh? Recognition, right?
If you could come stand at the photo, I'll take your picture. I'll find your address and I'll take it.
Keeping on that great, happy note, we're going to pass on to Mr. Wilson for the Student Safety Data Systems Annual Report.
Thank you, Ms. Singh. As I prepared for this report, I got excited. And typically when you're talking about student discipline and behavior, it's kind of tough to say, well, why are you getting excited? But the reason why I'm excited to give this report is because since the inception of the Department of Education's Student Safety Data System and these reports, I've been giving them. And over that period of time, I've had the opportunity to see the frameworks and the programs that we've put into place to improve the culture and climate of our schools. I've seen how those programs have had a tremendous impact. So probably the strongest of those is the thing that we depend on to change climate and culture in all of our schools, and that is the PBS, Positive Behavior Support Program that we brought in sometime, I think, around 2009, I'm thinking. But the things that are, so I've had the experience, the unique experience of watching our district grow and the culture in our schools change as a result of our reliance on those PBIS frameworks. So as we go through tonight's presentation, and again, the Student Safety Data System is the Department of Education's way to have schools report on what discipline looks like and what those programs look like in our schools. So our goal is to increase academic achievement. That's our big mission throughout the district by meeting the social and emotional needs of students through current and expanding programs like PBIS, like restorative practices, and to provide students and staff with a safe school environment in which they can teach and learn. One of the hallmarks of this presentation is this view of what discipline looked like in our schools during the 2023-24 school year. The circles represent the total populations in those schools. I always like to show that because when you look at it, it proves that the overwhelming majority of our students respond to the expectations that exist in our schools. So that green section, the big portion of those circles, represents students who have no office discipline referrals. Doesn't mean that they're perfect, but it means that they respond to our teachers, they respond to our administrators, they meet and respond to the expectations and meet those expectations that are set for them in their schools. The slice in that, the blue and the red slice in these pies, these circles, that represents students who've had at least one ODR, one office discipline referral. And the red portion of that slice represents those students for whom that one ODR resulted in suspension. So as you look at it, and as it should be, the largest part of these circles are those students who had no office discipline referrals. And when you look at our total population at the elementary school, 3,576 students, looking at roughly 200 plus students who had office discipline referrals is, certainly not perfect, but it is what we try to strive for. And I want to point out when we do this that what the administrators do in our buildings, so we come up with goals and expectations for all students, but we believe in that tiered system of response. So we are providing support for students as they need it. So those students who are represented in that slice, those are the students who we focus on giving more tiered support so that they can meet the expectations that we have for our schools. And by the way, it works. Okay. Next slide. So when we look at the total number of office discipline referrals and compare that to the previous school year, what you notice, and I have to point this out, have to give credit here at Franklin High School, because they have been on a major downward trend for the past 2 years. So when you're looking at that total number of office discipline referrals, what you're seeing is that it almost was reduced by half. The year before that, that 12-17 was also a major reduction. So we're moving in the right direction. We understand, by the way, too, as you look at this, that the middle school has been our challenge, and we're continuing to focus on that. But there is good news as we look at it, because they are making progress. And our elementary schools, while there is a slight increase in the number of referrals, when you're looking at that total population, what we're seeing is that our efforts are continuing to pay off there. I'd like to point this out at the and I'll point it out now. At the elementary level, one of the biggest areas of concern used to be the bus. Had high numbers of discipline referrals. We put a number of plans into place to address that. Now, that doesn't even make our top 10. So I'm always proud of those things, these accomplishments, because it shows the impact of what our efforts do. So when we're looking at those top 5 types of ODRs at the at our elementary level, comparing it 2023-24 to 2022-23. What you're going to see is there are some slight increases in some things and decreases in others. I'd like to point out physical aggression, because physical aggression, and it isn't just fights, it's pushing, and that's one of the things that is a very common thing at the elementary level. Somebody hit me with, hit me with the ball, I'm going to push him. Somebody took the ball, I'm going to push them, or something. Those kinds of things that are, but we do have to address them. The one thing that was kind of surprising is misuse of electronics, which also typically focuses on cell phone use, which is kind of one of the things that's been pushed down from the high school, middle school, and now showing up at the elementary school. But again, at the middle school, again, this is where we know our challenges are. I want to point out the fact when you look at physical aggression at the middle school in 22-23 to 23-24, notice the efforts that the team at our middle school campus is continuing to address that, and those numbers are decreasing. We recognize we have work to do, and we're still doing it. We're doing our diligence with that. And at the high school, I think the high school really is the lighthouse for PBS efforts. For years, cutting class was the #1 source of ODRs at the high school. While it is still in the top 10, if you compare last year, which was also a reduction, to this year, they cut it in half. And if you look across the board, things are going down, with the exception of CDS and tobacco use, where there was a slight increase. So I started off talking about the kinds of things that the district is employing to change the culture and behavior of students to align with more positive learning experience, learning culture. We do a lot of great things, but we believe that punishment by itself does not change behavior. In fact, we recognize that we have to teach expectations, and then not only teach them, but expect that students do it and recognize when they meet those expectations. We also provide a number of social and emotional kinds of supports for our students. And I'm highlighting this one, which is the Help Me app. You might be seeing these advertisements and posters at the elementary, middle, and high school hung on the walls. We've made, we kind of launched it at the end of last year and relaunched it this year. The Help Me app provides students, teachers, families with a variety of different kinds of support. Some of those 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So if a student has some kind of an emergency need, whether they're in school or at home, that's on the weekend, they can push one of that top button that will connect them immediately to a resource that will give them support. If there are issues with housing, clothing, food, they can also press a button and be referred to areas where they can get immediate support. And lastly, that last button gives them an opportunity to seek out if there are issues within their school and they need someone either to talk to, or if they need any kind of support while they're in school, that will go to a school resource and they'll reach out to them and provide them with resources. So this is just one of many kinds of supports. We work with our student assistants, coordinators. We provide mentoring and tutoring, so on and so forth. Moving me right to our harassment, intimidation, and bullying. The bottom portion of that, colored with the kind of brown and yellow or green, represents the 2023-2024 last school year, and then on top of that, the year before that. One of the things that we noticed, if you look at the total number of HIB investigations, is dropping slightly, okay? And the number of confirmed HIB incidents has dropped dramatically. Again, I think part of that goes to the type of instruction that we're providing to our students. Now, the fact that students feel free and parents feel free to contact the school to report, I also think that is a plus for this district. We encourage people that if they see something to report it, and we will act on it immediately. This takes me right into a portion of this report that focuses on providing some information about harassment, intimidation, and bullying, what our district policies are, and how we respond to them. I think it is important to understand, many of you already know this, but it's important for us to understand that we follow the Department of Education's guidelines as it relates to addressing harassment, intimidation, and bullying, and identifying what it is. So there are two major pieces of criteria that we look at specifically when we're investigating an incident of harassment, intimidation, and bullying. The first is the action has to be motivated either by an actual or perceived characteristic such as race, religion, etc., or some other distinguishing characteristic that motivates the behavior. And then secondly, it also must take place on school grounds, school bus, a school function, and the behavior must cause a substantial disruption to the school. So those two pieces of those two criteria are things that drive what the anti-bullying specialist is looking for. Okay, and then it has to be at least one of these criteria. The possibility of physical or emotional harm to the victim, or had the effect of demeaning or insulting the victim. And if it does either of those two, we can infer that it's also creating a hostile educational environment. So I want to say when we talk about consequences, that whether or not an incident, whether or not a referral for harassment, intimidation, and bullying satisfies the state criteria for harassment, intimidation, and bullying or not, whether it satisfies it or not, we are, as a district, address that behavior. And we involve the parents of everybody who is associated with that behavior. So that is an important thing to understand. For anything that is determined to be a violation of the district's harassment, intimidation, and bullying, for the first and second offense, the student will be disciplined in accordance with the student code of conduct, and that report will end up in the student's file. So in addition to whatever the behavioral consequences are, the harassment, intimidation report also becomes a part of their file. If a student has a third violation for harassment, intimidation, and bullying in the same school year, there are some additional consequences. And that additional consequence, in addition to whatever the code of conduct dictates, whatever is appropriate for that, it also is there are a series of lessons that the parent and the student must go through together. They take a series of assessments associated with those lessons, and those are reviewed by our student assistance coordinators, who will then work with that student and the family to come up with strategies to help change the behavior. Okay, so what do? And really, it's simple in a sense. If you see something that's not right, if you think it's bullying or whatever, but really, if you see something that's not right, report it. Report it to your building administrator, report it to the teacher, report it to the anti-bullying specialist. You can call the central office, report it to the superintendent, who will make sure that it gets funneled to the right individuals and we get it addressed, and we do it very well. One of the things that I did not point out when we were looking at that slide on harassment, intimidation, and bullying, know that the Department of Education requires school districts to investigate those incidents within a window of 10 working days. All of our schools, the anti-bullying specialists, meet those requirements. So know that we do take we take that very seriously. So once a school reaches that their conclusion, or whether they find it, whether they believe that it was a violation or not, that decision gets reviewed at the central office and ultimately gets reviewed by the Board of Education. So I'm not going to go through this, but there are a number of frequently asked questions associated with harassment, intimidation, and bullying. We've included that on a number of different places. It's in their schools, but it's also in the Student Code of Conduct. So if you were to look at the Student Code of Conduct, where it the policy on harassment, intimidation, and bullying, right after that, it has the those frequently asked questions. Okay, one other thing that we're required to share with the public is the Children's Internet Protection Act that requires school districts to develop and ensure that education is provided to every student regarding appropriate online behavior. We do that in a number of different ways. We protect a student electronic communication by assigning students an email account that's processed through our district server. That server has filters that block inappropriate materials. Then the last part is that we monitor student communication and use of our electronic equipment 24/7. So if they're accessing inappropriate sites, or if they're commenting about things that are self-harm or injurious, or if they're commenting about things that might result in violence or either in or out of school, that information gets communicated to us almost immediately, and we react and respond to that as such. So students in grades 3 through 12 are provided with education by assemblies, and also classroom. Part of their phys ed curriculum, we focus on the correct way to use the internet. So if you, and again, lastly, all of this is contained in the Student Code of Conduct, which you can use. The last part of this assembly talks about some of the school emergency drills. Schools are required to do non-fire evacuation drills, bomb threat drills, active shooter drills, and lockdown drills. We also do something called a shelter drill. All of these drills are designed to address specific emergencies, and we do them on a regular basis. And to not only, the focus is to teach individuals how they are to respond in each of these situations. And you can understand that, students have a specific responsibility during certain emergencies. Administrators, teachers, safety officers, the police officer who is in our building. So everyone has a specific role to play. We get to drill them. Whenever there is a drill, we also send that notice at the end of the day home to parents so that you know that there is a drill. And please also be aware that during our drills are really to teach. So we don't do simulation, so there's no loud noise, there's not blood on the floor, simulation, or people lying around, or any of those kinds of things. It is really instructional, all right? As you can see from our crack team of professionals. All right. Questions?
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. As always, a great report. I know this is going to be a bittersweet thing. This will be your last report since you have decided to retire. And maybe you'll come back to do the report next year. I will open for the board members to ask questions first, and then we'll open for comments from the public. Starting with Dennis.
As always, Mr. Wilson has put together a wonderful report. Being on the safety committee last year and seeing, I guess 2 years I was probably on it. But anyway, to see his continued input in the effort that he's put into the district to ensure our kids is safe for those parents that really doesn't see it up front, is an amazing job that he does. And as always, well thought out report, and kudos to you, and I accept his report.
Thank you. Walter?
No questions. Great job, as always, Mr. Wilson. Thank you.
Thank you. Nancy?
No questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sammy?
Yeah, I have a few questions. So, yeah, great job with the rates in the high school coming down. I mean, I know that post-COVID we saw sort of a bump and a lot of aggression, especially nationally, and we were no exception to that. So, what have you seen sort of change in the past, I guess several months or year that? I mean, only 2 hip cases in the whole high school. I thought that was pretty remarkable.
So there are a number of different kinds of supports at the high school, and I'm just focusing on the high school at this particular moment because there is such a dramatic change. But again, the support services, we have 2 student assistance coordinators. We had the OGE mentoring program. So it is really a lot of hands-on things that help promote the concept of what is acceptable and what is not. That whole concept of cutting class, which used to be huge, isn't the thing anymore. Students recognize and are starting to realize the importance of being in class, and our focus on making sure that we're trying to address the needs of every student. I think all of that plays out. And the other thing is that, the expectation is that, if students do something wrong, yeah, there are going to be some consequences, but there also is going to be some other things, some of those restorative practice techniques that have helped students to take some accountability for their behavior. So all of those things, I think, have really helped pay off. So
yeah, that's great, and love hearing that the work that you're doing is sort of having those sort of results. I guess my one thought around the middle school, because it seems like the middle school historically has kind of had those higher numbers and it continues to have. Is there anything that we're going to adjust or change to maybe approach it a little bit differently, or is it just a matter of giving it time, reinforcement, and things like that? Like, what are your thoughts around how to address the middle school sort of upticking a little bit? It's not a huge uptick, but it's an uptick. And it seems like it's historically had that, like whenever you show that pie graph, I always expect that middle school to have that larger chunk. And I know there's transitions in life. Kids are going from, being kids to teenagers, and there's all that. But is there anything that we can do differently? Any thoughts around that?
yeah, I mean, and I think that we are doing some things that are changing. I think and it might not sound like a lot, but you might recall that one of the changes we made last year was a focus on having administrators have the authority to take away privileges rather than suspend. So those kinds of things are starting to show some dividends at the middle school level too. And I mean, that's one. And I think they're certainly looking to continue doing that, using that. But also, the other piece that I think is going to help at our middle school level is, there's that philosophy that if you want students to show good leadership and to exhibit good behavior, that you have to give them opportunities to do it. So I know that both Rebecca at the at Sampson campus and Tori at the Hamilton campus are looking to do more of those kinds of things.
Yeah. And just my last question is, are there any things that, because we did have such a nice result from the work that we're doing at the high school, are there any pieces of that we can sort of bring down to the middle school that you think some of those support systems, some of that mentoring that we could bring maybe to that middle school that could perhaps help with that as well?
So interestingly enough, so you know that we meet monthly principals, and we're looking at this data on a monthly basis. So one of the things that, in fact, when you look at your suspension report for this September, one of the things you're going to see is not as many suspensions at the secondary level. I mean, at overall, but also not at the middle school level. And I think it's because they're looking at mentoring specifically, pairing teachers up with those students who are those tier 2 and 3s who need those kinds of supports. So I think that's going to also pay off big dividends.
Lori?
Well, thank you very much for the presentation. I especially liked the year over year so that we could actually see the progress. And I don't have any questions because Sammy asked them all. Thank you.
Just one question from me. Sammy was talking about, what can we take that's working at the high school and possibly, apply it to the middle school level. I'm thinking, what might we be able to do at the elementary level to prepare them for middle school? Because I do think it's that transition that's part of the issue. I think puberty is part of the issue. I think that fitting in, it's that age. So I think it's a bunch of things sort of converging that may be contributing to that. But what might we be able to do, and are we looking at some of that? What could we do to sort of better prepare them and hopefully maybe not see some of those behaviors when we get to 6th grade?
One of the things that we have really just started looking at is having middle school students, because it's part of, if you want students to show leadership, you've got to give them opportunities to do it, is having middle school students meet with some of those elementary students to give them advice about how to have a good experience at the middle school level. I don't think that that's all of it. I think we've got to do some other things as well. But know that we meet, and Sharon, who was my partner in crime here, we meet with the PBIS teams at all of the buildings, and they meet, the representatives all meet for a district-wide meeting where we're going over those things that work, and we're sharing those ideas so that they can pull, what they need from those experiences.
Thank you so much, and you will be missed.
Okay, with that, we'll open for public comments. Can I get a motion to open? 3 minutes per speaker, only questions on the report. Moved by Nancy, seconded by Dennis. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, if anybody has questions on the SSDS report, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and then you can ask your question.
I move to close public session.
Motion to close by Sammy,
Second.
seconded by Erica. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so public comment session is closed. Since Mr. Grippo, the chair for the safety committee, is not here, can I ask Erica to move A1?
I request that A1 be moved or moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Lori. Can we have roll call, Brian?
Dr. Hopkins?
Accept.
Ms. Inocencio?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. And now we're on to our superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam President. I will be brief because it's a long night, and Mr. Wilson did a great job in his report, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Wilson and not admit that this is his last report because he's not allowed to leave. But I also want to thank his team for putting together such a comprehensive report. The data really does inform our next level of work. We do use this data, and as Mr. Wilson shared, he reviews it quite often with principals, vice principals, and in fact, all of our safety team members, so that we can highlight the bright spots and celebrate those areas. And also, we know we have some areas to dig in on, and we'll certainly do that, and we'll work a little harder. But overall, I think things seem to be trending in a positive direction, as you saw by the data. So kudos to Mr. Wilson and his team. Homecoming. Homecoming. Next week is homecoming for Franklin High School. It's an exciting week at FHS with lots of traditional homecoming events planned. Rather than ending homecoming week with the homecoming dance, this year we're going to try something new, and we're going to kick homecoming off with the homecoming dance. So this year's homecoming dance will be held this Saturday. So I know Dr. Solomon and his team are looking forward to that. Usually a great opportunity for our kids. Then we'll have a week filled with lots of fun activities, including a pep rally toward the end and a homecoming football game. And this year, for the first time in the history of Franklin High School, our very own Franklin High School Aviation Club will perform a flyover just prior to the start of the homecoming game. So yes, that's right, you heard it. Our students will be piloting planes and will be flying over our stadium to perform a flyover just prior to the start of the homecoming game. So it's an exciting new twist on an age-old event. We're very proud of our kids. That's a very active club, and 2 courses in the high school in the field of aviation. And we have lots of our kids who are training to be pilots, and we're going to have a few of them working with their instructors, of course, flying over our stadium to kick off the kickoff, I guess, so to speak. So we're very excited about that and look forward to that becoming a new tradition at Franklin High School. And that's it for us.
Thank you. Next time, Mary, steal that superintendent's report and put it in my report. So I'm going to start my report in a somber way. I would request everybody to sit with me for a moment of silence because we've lost 3 warriors this past month. 2 were retired employees who had served the students of our district. Vivian Cottrell was a duty aide at Hillcrest from 1979 to 1985. And Anna Stromelli, who was a substitute cafeteria worker at our schools from 2001 to 2008. And then Elizabeth Avenue School also lost one of their beloved tigers, a young lady in the 4th grade, who brought joy and warmth to her school community. So please join me in a moment of silence in their memory and in support of their families and friends. Thank you. Some upcoming events. The Franklin Township Cultural Arts Council is putting on a show, Franklin's Got Talent, Youth Edition, tomorrow, Friday, October 18th at 7:30 p.m. at the Sampson G. Smith campus of Franklin Middle School. There are a number of our students participating in the show, and we say, break a leg to these talented warriors. We are proud of you. Cheerleaders for a Day Clinic. Lindsay Grant and Brianna Del Piano, our 2 cheer coaches, will run a cheer clinic for our younger students ages 6 to 13, assisted by our high school cheerleaders. The clinic will take place on Friday, October 25th, from 4 p.m. to 5:45 p.m. The younger children will then cheer with the high school cheerleaders for the first half of the homecoming game and have the opportunity to show their newly learned skills during halftime. All the proceeds will go to the FHS cheer team. Please check the community events section of the website, the newly enhanced website, for information on these events and other events at the Franklin Youth Center and around town. With that, we will again open for comments from the public, 5 minutes per speaker on agenda items only. Can I get a motion, please? Moved by Nancy.
Second.
Seconded by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're going to open once again. Comments from the public, 5 minutes per speaker, agenda items only.
Seeing no one?
Okay, motion to
Second.
close by Dennis, seconded by Sammy. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. And we're on to our committee and liaison reports. Can I have, okay, I'm all confused here. Okay, can I have Erica do the Communications and Public Engagement Committee as the chair?
I'm going to do the Safety and Security Committee. Do you want me to do the communications?
Can you do communications first?
I have a copy of it.
Oh, you don't have it open on the, okay.
Thank you. That's okay. I'll do it. Okay. So the Communications and Public Engagement Committee met on October 14th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Committee members present: myself, Erica Inocencio, Dr. Dennis Hopkins, Mr. William Grippo, Board President Ardaman Singh, and Mary Clark. The meeting began again at 6:30 p.m. The committee discussed the following topics: a mural unveiling at the Franklin Warrior Partnership Health Center, which was held on October 9th, where murals created by Candice Gelly, an FHS alumni, were celebrated. The anticipated opening, of the Sioux Falls School-Based Health Center building in a few months. The committee agreed that student families should play a role in the opening. The district has recently created YouTube channels for the video production elective classes at our middle school campuses. Stay tuned for more information as content by our talented students is created. Recent safety messages were reviewed with the committee. The committee discussed back-to-school events, which occurred earlier this year, as well as upcoming events such as the Franklin's Got Talent Show and the Cheerleader for a Day fundraiser. At upcoming Board of Education meetings, the board will recognize members of the district's Restorative Justice Training Team, as well as the Green Team of several schools. Finally, the committee was informed of the success of another FHS alum, Kalila Johnson, who is performing on Broadway in Anne Juliet. The meeting ended at 6:50 p.m. Respectfully submitted.
Thank you. Do you want to just continue and finish the safety committee?
Sure. So the Board Safety and Security Committee met on October 10th at 7:15 p.m. Present was Mr. Grippo, myself, Mr. Jimmy Parker, Board President Ardaman Singh, and district staff Mr. Wilson, as well as Dr. Orvyl. Items requiring BOE actions: the committee reviewed September suspension and HIB reports, which are on our agenda this evening. The committee also reviewed the Student Safety Data System Period 2 report for 2023-2024 school year. This report captures student discipline and HIB information for the entire school year, September through June. You saw this report earlier this evening. Items for review and discussion: Mr. Wilson informed the committee that the district provided CPR, AED, first aid certification classes for the district on October 8th and 9th. Although it is not mandatory that district staff be certified in CPR, AED, and first aid, the district encourages our staff to receive this training. Mr. Wilson also informed us that district personnel are also receiving training on student de-escalation and student restraint protocols. District safety officers, administrators, teachers, and support staff can receive this training throughout the year. Also, Dr. Orvyl and Mr. Wilson reviewed the procedures in place to ensure that our schools are safe spaces for students and staff. In light of recent incidents that have been posted on social media about possible school violence across our nation, the district, in collaboration with the Franklin Township Police Department and other law enforcement agencies, take any potential threat to our school safety seriously and make every effort to protect the students and staff attending our schools. The meeting adjourned at 7:50 p.m. Respectfully submitted.
Thank you. The next one I have is personnel. Walter?
The Personnel Committee met on October 10th at 6 p.m. Members of the committee were myself as chair, Nancy LaCour, Sammy Shaban, Ardamont Singh, President of the Board, Dr. John Ravalli, Brian Bonanno, Colleen Devlin. The Personnel Committee reviewed and/or discussed the following items. Personnel Report, October 17, 2024. Number 4, Personnel Committee reviewed the draft of the Personnel Report for the upcoming board meeting on October 17. Appointments include teachers, paraprofessionals, food service manager, and food service workers. In addition, there are appointments for fall sports clubs, ESL testing, transfers, and salary revisions. We had the good of the order, and the meeting adjourned at 6:16 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. We did not have a curriculum committee meeting this month, so we'll move on to facilities. Nancy?
The Facilities Committee met on Tuesday, October 15th. Present were Walter Jackson, Lori Maris, myself, Ardamont Singh, John Ravalli, Brian Bonanno, Stephen Freed, Mark McNamara, and Ryan Ellis. We discussed the facilities use requests that are in tonight's agenda, the energy report for Claremont Solar System, and updates on school-based health center. The construction of the school-based health center on the campus of FMS at HSC is underway. Site work has begun, and we anticipate completion early in 2025. SSP proposal to identify and prioritize capital needs. Dr. Ravalli and Mr. Bonanno presented the committee with proposed from SSP, and this is a big one, FHS cell phone signal booster. We were informed by Dr. Ravalli and Mr. Bonanno that the committee is about to boost the cell phone signal via a phased plan beginning with the events lobby region of Franklin High School. Yay. And the meeting adjourned at 6:23.
Thank you. Strategic Plan Committee, can you read that, Sammy, since you were part of that?
Sure. So, meeting was on October 10th, virtual meeting. In attendance were Mr. Grippo, myself, Ms. Ardamont Singh, Dr. Ravalli, Ms. Clark. The meeting began at 8:05. We reviewed the whole strategic plan. Anybody who's listening or anybody who wants to take a gander at it, I think it's a really impressive strategic plan. And the progress made across almost all dimensions is also impressive. So I would highly encourage anybody to look at it from top to bottom. I said this when we first passed it, if we pass through all this and accomplish the goals that are on that strategic plan, we're going to really put Franklin on yet an even higher tier. So the update is now posted on the website. The meeting concluded at 9:10, respectfully submitted.
Thank you. Dennis, policy?
All right. The policy committee met on October 14th, virtually at 6 p.m. Members that was present, myself as chair, Erica Incencio, Jimmy Parker, Alderman Singh, and Mary Clark. The meeting began at 6 p.m. The committee reviewed and discussed the revised Title I school parent and family engagement policies for the following schools: Claremont Elementary, Elizabeth Ave, Hillcrest, Pine Grove Manor, and both campuses of Franklin Middle School. These policies are annually reviewed and revised as needed by the individual schools to provide some details on how the schools will provide opportunities for the family engagement and support, a partnership between families and school in this school year. These policies are required for Title I funding. The meeting ended at 6:25 p.m.
Thank you. And finally, Finance, Lori?
Finance Committee met Tuesday, October 15th at approximately 7:30 p.m. In attendance were myself, Lori Maris, Mr. Walter Jackson, Nancy LaCourte, Ardaman Singh, Dr. Ravalli, Brian Bonanno, and Stephen Freed. We reviewed the bills list and the financial reports to include the general warrants, the payroll, and the enterprise fund warrants. Charter school payments, our monthly tuition payment for the previous month was $1.8 million. CJCP receiving $1,236,324. Hatikva, $10,855. Thomas Edison, $569,390. College Achieve Central, $3,538. Greater Brunswick Charter School, $56,928. Team Academy, $1,714. And Princeton Charter School, $1,106. Our year-to-date tuition is $8,824,815, and our year-to-date transportation is $432,853. Total, therefore, year-to-date for tuition and transportation is $9,257,668 paid. Thank you very much. Respectfully submitted.
Thank you. And now we're on to new business. Sammy.
Yes. So, under new business, I move to submit R1, M1, A3, A4, A5, A6, A7 facilities use. I should read the titles too. A8 settlement agreement. A9 revised policies, second reading and adoption. A10 revised regulation adoption. A11 revised policies, first reading. A12 American Education Week, November 18th through 22nd, 2024. A13 National School Bus Safety Week, October 21st to 25th. A14 Education Support Personnel Recognition. A15 2024-2025 School Year Calendar Revision. A16 2024-2025 PEA Budget Revision. A17 Kane University Affiliation Agreement. A18 Walden University Affiliation Agreement. A19 Memorandum of Agreement. A20 Donations. B1 Warrants and Payrolls. B2 Financial Reports. B3 Contract Approval. B4 Change Orders. B5 Receipt of Bids, Food Services, Ice Cream Products. Sounds delicious. B6 Awards of Bids, Food Services, more ice cream products. B7 Receipt of Bids, Recycling of Technology Equipment. B8 Award of Bids, Recycling of Technology Equipment. B9 Receipt of Bids, District Waste Disposal. B10 Award of Bids, District Waste Disposal. B11 Award of RFP, Youth Development Mentorship Program, FHS. B12 Facility Report. B13 Tuition Contract Approvals with the Somerset County Vocational and Technical School. C1, out-of-district students 24-25 school year. C2, field trip destination. C3, field trip applications. C4, Sodhani Foundation grant. I think we did that one. P1, personnel report number 4, dated October 17th, 2024.
Awesome. So there is a motion for A1, A1, R1, M1, R1, M1, A2 to A20, B1 to B13, C1 to C3, and P1.
Correct.
Can I get a second? Seconded by Nancy. Brian, roll call, please.
Dr. Hopkins?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Jackson? Ms. LaCourte?
Yes.
Ms. Maris?
Yes.
Mr. Shaban?
Yes.
Ms. Singh?
Yes.
Motion's carry.
Thank you. And now we are at comments from the public, 5 minutes per speaker, any topic. Can I get a motion? Moved by Dennis,
Second.
seconded by Erica. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So it's comments from the public, 5 minutes per speaker, any topic. Please come to the podium, state your name and address, and you can address to the board.
When you're done, just put your name and your address.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jenny. My son attends McAfee. So just wrote a short blurb. I know it's late. I don't want to take too much of your time, but it's a serious topic, so I appreciate your attention. So my son was recently a victim to a bullying and intimidation incident where a young boy walked towards him until he was against the wall in the bathroom and proceeded to cut my son's hair after my son asked an innocent question if he was a boy or girl because of his long hair. Since this incident occurred in the bathroom where there's no cameras, the investigation was found to be inconclusive. And to my dismay, it was implied that my son did this to himself. It is alarming to see a situation where my child is left vulnerable and unsupported in the face of bullying. It is disheartening to hear that my child is being held accountable rather than receiving the support and protection he needs. Trusting school administrators to safeguard our children is essential, and incidents like this highlight the importance of proper intervention and support systems in place to address bullying effectively. Let's reflect on how we can ensure that all children feel safe, supported, and protected in their learning environments, free from fear of being blamed for the actions of others. It's crucial to create a culture of empathy, accountability, and zero tolerance for bullying to foster a safe and inclusive space for every child to thrive. Age, of course, is a factor, but early intervention will prevent further escalated situations, such as these articles I have with me where schools ignored early warning signs with a 6-year-old that shot his teacher. Here's another article for high school where they avoided warning signs. Here's a chance to prevent further escalated situations and be the support for my son and also for the child who clearly exhibits psychological issues. In your Code of Conduct Policy 5512, page 36 states remedial measures shall be designed to correct the problem behavior, prevent another occurrence of the problem, protect and provide support for the victim of the act, and take corrective action for documented problems related to harassment, intimidation, or bullying. In closing, as a resolution, I believe no child should have access to scissors in their desk. They should be provided to them when they need and collected back. There needs to be accountability for the child that did this to my son. Also wanted to share, sorry, this is upsetting to read. Also wanted to share what my son asked me the other night. What is going to happen to the boy that did this to me? I don't want that kid to be in school. I don't want to talk to the school people. They think I'm a liar. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Seeing no further members from the public, I move to close public session.
Motion to close by Sammy, seconded by Nancy. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Just to address, the board is not liable to respond any student issues, so we will not be answering or responding to the statement that you've made, but we've made it as part of the minutes and noted that down. Thank you. And now we're on to good of the order. Erica, anything?
Just that we've wrapped up Hispanic Heritage Month. I know that there was a lot of wonderful ways of acknowledging all of the contributions made by people of Hispanic and Latin descent. I saw some beautiful pictures of the event at Pine Grove. I know that there was a lot shared information about famous Hispanic Americans during morning announcements at McAfee and so on and so forth. So again, just wishing all of our community members of Hispanic descent, hope you enjoyed your National Hispanic Heritage Month. That's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you. Lori?
Not much to say, but a quick plug for Safe Halloween that will be held at Franklin High School on Halloween. This is a wonderful event for you to bring your kids to. So I hope you all enjoy a happy and healthy Halloween. Be safe.
Thank you. Dennis?
As we approaching homecoming week, it's a time for us to and alumnus to come back to celebrate in a safe way and embrace what the district continues to offer. So let's go forward with a safe homecoming, and those who are, I guess, the next time we'll meet will be after Halloween. So let's be safe out there, folks.
Thank you. Walter?
Once again, thank you to the Sodhani Foundation for your gracious donation. And I just want to read a quick quote. Nancy actually sent it to me this week, something that I actually posted 2 years ago. Your vote is what you want your world to be. So just make sure that you all go out and vote and continue to be safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Nancy?
I sent some amazing quotes. I literally was just looking for a quote. I was like, I'm going to find a quote too, Walter. And there's a lot. So, B.B. King said, the beautiful thing about learning is that no one can take it away from you. Booyah. But to Walter's comment about making your future what you want it to be, you have a choice on Election Day to see your future in so many different ways and make that choice. Do your homework, vote your conscience, and vote for your future and your children's future. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Sammy?
Yeah, sure. So just a few things. So for the FISC initiative, the Franklin Food Insecurity and Safety Coalition, I know many of you attended, but for those that didn't, we were recognized at the county level where Mark Diglinson, who is the food security expert and advocate for New Jersey State. So this is the position that Governor Murphy created to end food insecurity, actually went in front of all of our Somerset County commissioners and recognized the work that we started, and even noted that we are the only town in all of New Jersey to be doing this work. So it's really fantastic that it's being not only recognized and emulated. And Derek also told me that in the food bank circles up and down New Jersey, from top to bottom, they are talking about the work that we were doing at FISC, and so a lot of good news there. There was a food insecurity summit, which I think was the first summit to ever have food insecurity as the only reason for it in the entire country, that Mark Dinglinson ran, and I went sort of as a liaison for our Board of Education. And again, the amount of information, I sent a few of the opportunities to Dr. Orvyl that the connections with Rutgers and what could be available to us as a district, the way that we can sort of bring a lot of this to light. So just wanted to bring that up to you all, that the work continues and that the partnerships that we've established in so many dimensions, whether they're the healthcare centers or this battle against food insecurity, are really making moves, not just for ourselves, but for the whole state. So thank you.
Thank you. And I want to close with something that we have a lot of celebrations in October. October is also Mental Health Awareness. And we all know that there is data coming out that 1 in 5 Americans suffer with some form of mental issues. So make sure you take care of people around you, check in on people. And I also want to share that next week, the board members will be out for New Jersey School Board's conference workshop. Great topics. If you, my fellow board members, have not downloaded the app, sessions begin on Monday at 10:30 a.m. I'm really excited to hear from the keynote speaker, who's Marita Cheng. She's the founder of RoboGals, and I'm really excited to see what she has to say. And another great topic that really interested me was collaborative leadership. Best practices for board and superintendent synergy. I think we're a role model for that. So I really want to hear what else do they have to say. So that really caught my attention. So make sure you download the app and attend these sessions. And then maybe we can have like a session together to see which sessions we all went to and share that information amongst each other. So have a great time, everyone, and meetings are adjourned.